What's up, everybody? Welcome to our next First Look Film Room. Today we're doing Jayden Daniels. He's been a late and fast riser in this college season in his 5th year here at LSU. Started at Arizona State. Genuinely curious for this one. I really haven't watched much Jayden Daniels at all. All I know is that he's really athletic and creating a lot of noise. I'm curious to kind of see what my takeaways here are, if I can see the first round buzz being legit there. Let's get into it. Please do hit that like button. It really does help me out. Takes just a second. I really appreciate it. And make sure you subscribe for more content just like this. Let's get into it. And I'm already not crazy about the first play here. Now, he's going to use his athleticism. He's going to turn into a nice 8-yard run on first down. We're certainly not talking about the end of the world or anything, but you're looking for these guys to process coverages, throw with anticipation. It's going to be quarters. Here from Nick Saban, which you can always expect a lot of quarters, match zone stuff against a Saban defense like this. But yeah, I mean, they're running a little switch release here, reading the leverage of the zone defenders here. Do I think when he hits the top of his drop, he's glued in on that first read a little bit that, you know, very clearly isn't going to be open? This corner is staying outside. The curl flat is taking the wheel route. You know, the switch kind of works here, right? You have this guy running an in-breaker. This guy's occupying both zone defenders here. Would I want a pro quarterback to hit the top of his drop and throw that thing in the soft spot in the zone with some anticipation here? Yeah, I would. Now, the rush does get in. I get it. I think an NFL quarterback right about there, if we go back, you know, we can kind of see that the helmet of this defender had just pulled through. Let's see where. Yeah, I mean, I think that ball could have been out right there, right? I mean, that would be an NFL type of throw. So I do like the scramble, but this, you know, a lot of quarterbacks come through like this, and you just, more often than not, you want to see these guys make it especially just a one-side read like that with anticipation. Okay, next play here. We got LSU running Hank, which is just going to be a bunch of stop routes against a heavy blitz look here from Alabama. It's a pretty clear pre-snap picture for Jayden Daniels, just kind of reading, you know, the middle part of the field here to make sure nobody's dropping into that area, and he rightfully so is going to read this second receiver on the inside here and throw that hitch. Now, it's not perfect. I think in terms of when the ball is released, you want it ball out basically by the time the receiver turns it around. He gets it there, but it is probably a little bit later than it needed to be, especially when this is a pretty clear decision pre-snap and it plays out the way you expect. And then the placement is a little low and away. I know he's trying to throw it away from this DB, but I think you could stick it, you know, a little bit closer. The receiver actually has to make a lunging catch here, and it ends up falling incomplete. So again, I'm not actually crazy about this drop back from Daniels. All right, now we're talking. Jayden Daniels dropping a bomb to Malik Neighbors, fast riser in this draft process as well. Let's see what happens here. So, you know, Saban defenses can be difficult to figure out what the hell is going on sometimes. It gets a little weird. They're showing single high pre-snap. They want him to think it's going to be middle of the field closed. But this actually, to me, plays out like quarters. You got, you know, one quarter here matched up. This guy's going to drop into a quarter. This guy's a quarter. And this guy's a quarter. And then this guy's going to kind of buzz down. So it's like an inverted quarters look type of deal. But it is ultimately going to be this safety that is going to have to keep his eyes on the number 2 vertical threat from this side of the field. And maybe it's this motion here that kind of confuses this, but just a good recognition from Jayden Daniels. He's got his deep threat. You got middle of the field open. That's a lot of space right there. It's going to be there. Pull the trigger. Beautiful deep ball throw there. Hits him in stride. The coverage bust definitely did them some favors here, but love the vertical element here, showing off some arm talent and willingness to kind of press it downfield in against quarters. You know, it's not always easy to decide to throw it deep against quarters, even though the safety gives them an easy picture there. Now, again, we're a half a step late on these curls here, and the placement not great. We gotta rep these here. Not loving this. I'm fine with the read, pretty clear. Again, quarters look, but with the trips over here, Jayden should know this guy again is going to be kind of keeping his eyes on anybody entering this area of the field. So the curl single ISO side is the right read here, but you know, again, the ball's not out until the receiver turns around. It is tight coverage from a clean pocket. He could take a hitch, examine what else he has on the play. But if he is going to throw this thing, I want it out quicker. And he tries to, you know, leverage this thing inside again. I get it, but it's just not a great execution by Daniels on this one. So we got to work on these curls here. I'm not going to show every run from Jayden Daniels. It's very explosive. The run game very clearly going to be an element of his game and why you ultimately want to draft him. It obviously brings things to your offense that a lot of quarterbacks don't. So just, you know, you see the explosiveness, kind of the contact balance. He's a very good runner. So again, first impressions here. Not great from Jayden Daniels out the gate here. This is just not a great decision. It's not a good throw. He's got a clean pocket to put the ball in harm's way like this in this situation when you have an open wide receiver in your field of vision. That's just stuff that's going to be challenging at the next level. So it's cover 6 from Alabama here. You've got this. The clear tell is when a safety like this just bails out like this, like immediately at the snap. That's going to tell you it's cover 2 to some degree. You can see him just immediately retreating there. And then this is very clearly match principles on this side. And, you know, when this guy doesn't look back this way, that's going to be a problem in cover 6 like this. Now, they clearly have, these guys are going to match, you know, like I said, Saban defenses are complicated. It's not always easy, but you're talking about a clean pocket read here, and he's pulling the trigger into, you know, dangerous traffic. I can kind of see why he pulls this, because for a second, this safety pulls out towards any kind of crosser over here, and then he sees this guy come open. But they very quickly pass this thing back off. And if he is going to throw this thing, you need this ball like out here, right? And the ball ends up somewhere over here by the SEC logo. Actually about 10 yards further down the field. So just all around, it's a dangerous pass. It's not really recognizing the coverage. Like out the snap, your read should say cover 6. And with this guy running a deep cross, these guys occupied. I mean, man, that's a big missed opportunity. Don't love the decision. Definitely don't like the ball placement on it. Everything's a little bit late too still. Perfectly clean pocket. Like, again, if this ball was thrown the second this safety switches over here, if he pulls that trigger, throws it with anticipation, gets it out here, maybe it's there, but he's just late on it, allows the defense time to react. So I just, honestly, I'm not a fan of this drop back here from Daniels. Man, we have had some tough matchups in the NFL this year, like last night's game between Mitch Trubisky and the New England Patriots. You know, if you're looking for a way to get through these last 6 weeks of the NFL season with a lot more entertainment in some of these tough primetime matchups, I'm telling you, Underdog Fantasy has saved my life this year. I'm sure you've all seen the pick'em contest that you can do on Underdog, where you're stringing together player stats and putting them together in these lineups. And if you hit on all of your selections, which are anything from passing yards to fantasy points, field goals, you name it, you can get 20 times your entry. That's a $2 or $3 entry to pay for dinner that night. And if you lose, at least you were more invested in the fourth quarter, waiting to see if that third string wide receiver got his 17 receiving yards. You guys are going to love Underdog Fantasy if you're not playing. I encourage you to go check it out. And right now, if you sign up using promo code TFG, they'll match up to $100 on your first deposit. Then we're going to end up in third and long here. Alabama retreats into a cover 3. Jayden just takes the check down. I get why he does it. Third down check downs typically bother me, but in this situation, there's a lot of space. There's a good chance he gets it. You really see these guys bail out. 3 wide receivers on this side. He knows he's not going to get anything clean there. So, kind of sets up the opportunity to either get the first down or go for it on 4th down, which if they're well coached, they will here. Let's see what they do next. Boot it out. And good defense. Really just good defense. Don't love the play call. Not a whole lot there. Could he have been a little bit quicker on this? Probably not. I don't know that I would necessarily put that one on Daniels. All right, we got 2nd down. More matched quarters from Alabama. Very good to take away a deep shot concept like this. Jayden Daniels gets out of the pocket. God, he can scoot, man. You love to see it. Picks up like 25 on the play. I like the decision to scramble, too. This time he gets through 1 to 2, sees it's not there, and the escapability is awesome. So, again, that's why you're drafting the kid. He can scoot. Saban defenses are wild, man. This is like cover 5. Probably cover 2 in reality, with a deep drop from this safety rotating late. But either way, good kind of deep zone coverage here, taking away another deep vertical concept from Jayden, who's looking for the shot here on 2nd down. I don't know if that's a big tendency of his that Alabama's keyed in on. But the play extension here against a 3-man rush, I like that he hangs in there against a 3-man rush. A lot of these college quarterbacks will just get out of there really quickly. Obviously, good escapability, finds a guy out of structure. Love to see it. In terms of the in-structureness here, yeah, I mean, that's good defense by Alabama. I think he's just making a play here. You could argue he should get that ball out on 2nd down. But, he's headhunting. He's playing to his strengths. I think the throw is a little bit risky. If these DBs were looking, it would have been a little bit more risky, but can't slam him too much on it. I would say all around good play. Another fairly similar play here. This is actually going to end up being cover 3 with these guys dropping. This guy in a little bit of a buzz. And unfortunately not a great play from Jayden here. Number 1, you get cover 3 here. You got a nice deep dig here. A lot of space, a clean pocket. Ideally, that's the the throwing window that you're looking for here before you take the underneath throw here. But if you are going to take the underneath throw, which I get, these guys are dropping back. You got space here. You got to put the ball on them. Oh, I'm sorry. It gets deflected. Okay. Take it back. So, I'm okay with the throw. It's a expected outcome from the quarterback, but the high-end throw would have been, okay, we got cover 3, look for that deep dig. This is always going to be the soft spot against cover 3. I think very clearly there was a window to fit that in. He elects for the underneath throw, which is fine, gets deflected. On to the next one. Okay, next play here, we get cover 1 from Bama, and to me, this is just good defense. I've watched this like 10 times at this point, trying to say, oh, he should throw this with anticipation or recognize this whip route or whatever. Look, he's reading the deep post. They probably expected some form of zone. They get cover 1. He's holding on to the ball a long time against a 5-man rush, but it's 3rd down. He didn't have escape lanes. To me, just good defense by Alabama. Big fan of this next play. Probably the best pro decision that Daniels has made. Just get into a second read, backside dig here against the zone coverage. Climbing a clean pocket. That's pro-style quarterbacking right there. When you know his traits are in there, you got to see just flashes of this, right? Even if he hasn't been perfect, to know that this is in there is definitely encouraging. More good just pre-snap recognition, pre-snap processing, seeing all the off coverage, knowing that you've got a good play call on, and just throwing, you got literally just 3 stop routes, throwing to the receiver that had the DB with the furthest separation off of them. You see that pre-snap. As long as one of these guys doesn't book it down to take that away, you're not even really reading the safeties or reading the coverages. You're just reading leverage. and good quick decision there. In terms of the arm talent kind of on display here, I was hoping we get a better angle there, but I don't think he's got a missile for an arm. He gets it there on time. Nice quick release. Placement's fine. Just wanted a little look at kind of the velocity and arm talent there for a second. I like this next play too. I feel like we're getting a little bit better as we go on here. Video's a little bit choppy here, so sorry about that. But very similar to that last play where we got cover one. This is cover one very clearly. And again, against a five-man rush with the QB spy. This time I like how Daniels actually drifts back in the pocket instead of stepping up into the rush. And this time on first down, the last one was on third down, he takes his kind of underneath check down option here. Very good management of the rush here, and a good job by the O-line for picking this up. All right, second down and medium. More man coverage from Alabama. They clearly think they can get Jayden Daniels against man coverage. They don't think he can make quick decisions, and he says, hey, watch this. I can make quick decisions. I just didn't want to do it on third down earlier because I was trying to move the chains. So starting to see some good signs there in terms of recognizing man coverage and where to go with the football. Now, the throw's just got to be better, right? I like the decision. I think really good recognition, sees the linebacker, bolting to the flat, very clear read there, and a good decision on second down, but the throw just has to be better. It's behind the back. If he leads him, you've got, a one-on-one chance. He could outrun him all the way to the end zone. So definitely need better accuracy on that one, but I do like the read. So one good check mark, one downside there on the throw. And Alabama's not backing down from man coverage here, but LSU's kind of onto it now at this point with the play calling. They're going to motion Neighbors over, and that's a nice tell to Daniels. When you see this defender, eyes on, following him in motion, that's a clear tell. You're getting man coverage again, and pretty easy first read for Daniels, but gets the job done, sticks it on him. That's a good job of play calling and talent, helping a young quarterback against a defense that at least thinks they have your number. Another QB run after that I want to show. He's got like running back skills, man. The patience, again, with the contact balance there. Keeps running his feet. Beautiful. Then we've got the third time this game where they're just off and out of sync on these comebackers. I like the read. Very similar to that kind of three-man concept we saw earlier where he's not even really reading the safeties. He's just checking the leverage of the defenders. And to me, this is a miscommunication as opposed to an underthrow or bad arm talent or anything like that. Never know for sure whose fault this is, but to me it looks like Daniels is throwing this to the sticks. Neighbors runs it past the sticks. Miscommunication falls short. Don't need to spend any more time on it than that. You got to be kidding me on this next one. I think I get it now. Like, honestly, this is the first time I've watched Jayden Daniels play football, so I didn't really know what to expect. But that's like college Lamar Jackson right there. Seriously. Like, reading the thing out, you had deep zone coverage, nothing was there, but to be weaving and outrunning the Alabama defense like this, it's a college playoff team, people. Yeah, that's... I don't need to sit here and tell you why that is a useful tool to be brought to the next level. Special, man. Special. Then we end up first and 15. Man coverage across the board, and I like how the motion there keys that off. Right, they're going to motion the back. Linebacker's going to follow him, bolt out with him. Very clearly gets man. But then nothing's open. But I love the patience in the pocket. And, oh my God, is he going to... Oh, I thought he might house this thing. It looks like they got a block in the back. It might have been a bad call there. But anyway, just good pocket presence, man. I feel like he kind of makes the decision about here that he's going to run it, but he's just waiting for the right escape lane because no one was open. It's the right decision to scramble. If you're going to play cover one without a spy on a quarterback like this, you're going to get ran on all day. And it's on Daniels to recognize that and take advantage of that. So it's a good decision by him. And then obviously the athleticism, borderline block in the back there. But that's great. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the last time Alabama runs man coverage in this game, but I really like this play for the most part here because this is actually the exact same play that we saw in the first play of the game. If you remember, we had quarters, and then LSU was running a little switch release with this guy running a little in-breaker here, and what we saw was Daniels kind of stared down the wheel route and then didn't throw that zone opening with anticipation. And this time he does, and I love that in-game learning. He's now shown us he can beat man. This time he's thrown into a zone opening. Now, do I think this is like a split second later than you'd like it? Probably. I think you could probably recognize it there and then pull the trigger now and throw this ball a little bit more inside. But he gets it in time enough that the receiver's able to make the play happen. Very tight, but they get it done. And if they can just, I mean, you already saw he's now making this read in game. The first time he didn't make this read. Can you get him to make this read just a hair of a second sooner so this is a little bit prettier? I would say probably. With the way he's developed throughout his career and even within this game on the same concept against the same coverage. So I'm overall encouraged, just want it to be a little bit faster, like ever so slightly faster. That said, not crazy about this next one. So he's kind of forcing this hitch. This is the second time he's done this where he's throwing the hitch late, right? The receiver's begun his break back. The ball's not out yet. And he's forcing it where he could have looked elsewhere. Now, the pressure's getting in. It is a blitz, so he's got to hurry. But if you're looking at this pre-snap, anytime I see off coverage like this, I want to examine what these linebackers are doing. Like, this hitch is always going to be there. He's kind of just staring it down. And when these linebackers don't get depth, I mean, you can hit the top of your drop and throw that in breaker. I really think you can. So I'm just not crazy about the decision or the read or the timing of these hitch routes has been kind of hard to watch in this game. Well, and here you go. Next play. I don't know. I don't think that's the way Saban wants to dial that thing up. But that time, I mean, same exact pre-snap look. This time he's like, hey, let's maybe look at that intermediate route there, and they bring the heat. It doesn't get any easier in terms of reading that thing out, especially the play after you just got that look. But, good execution by Daniels. I would say more so just bad defense against the correct play call in this situation. So I don't normally show screens, but when you kind of don't do what you're supposed to, I'm going to show it. I think he can throw this. I know that the D lineman's reading it, but there's so much space here. Float it out there, man. That could be a huge play. It's a good play call. Screens are tough to analyze, but I think he could have let that thing go with some touch, right? Just float it out there. I recently just talked about this on the podcast, how getting these screens accomplished in muddy situations is a skill. Now he ends up finding an escape lane, shows off the incredible athleticism, makes it work, but that's not always going to happen at the next level, right? I want you to throw that screen. I do. There's plenty of space out here. Even just fire it to him right now, right? Like, I think there's a window for him to get that in there. So this one's kind of fun. Bama's in, very clear pre-snap single high look. And this is clearly the look LSU wanted in this situation. Try to get a shot play on first down. They got Malik Neighbors in the slot. They're going to run kind of a double move, a little stutter go. And anytime you have like a true designed first down shot play and you're kind of just predetermining your read, you get the coverage, you look, you're going to throw it no matter what. It's a little more excusable for me to say that's fine that you decided to throw that as opposed to looking at this backside dig. Maybe the elite quarterbacks would say, okay, I liked the look pre-snap, but post-snap processing is a thing. The DB played this perfectly. let's see from a clean pocket what else we have going on. So I would say we're not seeing elite processing here, but I understand why the decision was made. Very clearly, though, the throw, oh my God, did they complete it? I went through that whole thing. They didn't complete this, right? Certainly not an NFL completion. That's tight coverage. Very good throw, given the context, right? Oh my God, did they complete this? I mean, he throws a perfect ball against perfect coverage, so I'll give him that. They completed that. Wow, that I did not think they were going to complete that. I would say great freaking deep ball placement there, right? Love to see that. Decision making is what it is, but okay. Malik Neighbors, I see you. Not an NFL completion though, right? You're not completing that pass in the NFL. You're just not. With the catch rules and yeah. All right, second down, designed run. Get it in. Almost. Now, something happened here now. Fumble or something. Comments will have to let me know what happened there in the real game. This is just a cut-up of him, but we got a tie game here in the fourth quarter. More deep route combos from LSU. More good coverage. This time it is cover 6 from Alabama. Everything's bottled up. The pressure gets in. He scrambles. Makes a guy miss. Cuts back. Almost a first down. Like everything about that from Daniels. And then a play that I don't like. So we are getting a little inconsistent here, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, he's staring down his first read here. There's no doubt about it. Too long. He's drifting back in the pocket too far. If he steps up, his tackle gets the angle. Step up. He keeps drifting. Invites a holding call. Ends up rolling out. Now, I mean, why not? It's special athleticism, man. It's why it's so tough with some of these mobile quarterbacks sometimes, because you don't know if he's going to get away with this in the NFL against, I know this is Alabama, but like the elite of the elite. Like if that's Justin Madubuike or, Devonta Wyatt or Jalen Carter, does he peel off of that and make that sack happen? You know what I'm saying? So there's that aspect. But on a positive side, like it's certainly, if you're not going to have consistent decision making, it's going to help you get out of trouble. And his athleticism is absurd, right? Like this is real elite athletic talent that we're talking about here. This isn't, Desmond Ridder. This is Lamar Jackson type of elusiveness, escapability. Now, again, the pocket decision invites a holding call there. This thing comes back. So you do have to factor that in, I think. It's a tough play to analyze. It's a very tough play to analyze. Another very interesting play here. We've got a true cover 2 from Alabama, and I love his pocket presence on this one. Managing the rush, climbing up in the pocket, not bailing. I think that's really important to note. So many of these ultra athletic quarterbacks are just so scramble happy. I don't think he's necessarily been scramble happy. He, for the most part, I think has ran when he should. He's getting through his reads here. The reactionary play finds his tight end over the middle of the field. Got to be caught. I think that's a great play from Daniels. Then again, a play I don't love. The inconsistency is starting to get a little annoying here. 3rd and forever, you're playing for the next possession at this point. If you were under pressure, I would say this is a fine decision. Punt the ball, live for the next set of downs. But, you've just made these incredible plays with your feet, with your arm. You've got open wide receivers, man. Scramble, do something. I get it's 3rd and forever, but if the rush isn't getting home and you have the tools you have, a part of your game is going to be the ability to convert some of these 3rd and forever situations. I want to see him either recognize this as cover 2 and fire this in here when these DBs don't carry it, or from a clean pocket, step up, see this escape lane, and see what kind of reactionary plays you can have with all this space and your athleticism. A check down here might as well be a punt. So I want to see a little bit more aggressiveness in this situation in a tie game in Alabama in the fourth quarter. So I think I misled people thinking it was fourth quarter. It's actually the third quarter. Right now we're down by a tutty in the, last 16 minutes of the game. Just going double slants to the left here. Deflected. Oh no. Damn. All right. The read's correct. Throwing the inside slant. I'd say he pulls the trigger roughly the right time. He wants to make sure he wins on the route, so I'm fine with that, and then it just gets deflected and intercepted, man. That just sucks. And then we end up down 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter after that. And it looks like this is actually the last play of the game, so he must have gotten hurt or... Oh, yep, I guess he probably got hurt on that play right there. Don't mean to make light of the situation, but that would explain it. Wow, 15 is taking over this game late. Now, as far as what Daniels does here, we've got cover 3 seam across the board here. Pre-snap look cover 3 seam. He's taken that same deep slot fade look here. Is that Neighbors, his guy? Yes, it looks like it. So I like the read. He has to throw it early because the left tackle gets beat. Obviously takes a hit, gets taken out of the ball game. The throw, the throw was short, but I think the hit, yeah, rightfully so. You can't criticize him for the throw there. The read's perfectly fine. The left tackle just can't get beat that bad. But yeah, obviously an unfortunate way for the game to end for him, man. You got the tip interception, getting taken out of the game. You got the drop there on the drive before that. But yeah, that was a very polarizing game to watch. So you're here for my first impressions. We watched the film. My first thought is honestly, I see the hype. I was suspect. I'm not going to say I was ready to dive into the hype or against the hype, but I just, this is a quarterback that's been in college football for a long time, kind of a fifth-year breakout type of situation. So I was very curious to see what we saw and if I would see a potential first-round quarterback here in my first game of film watching him. And I do see the potential there. I mean, the athleticism speaks for itself, and I didn't really know he was quite as good at getting out of pressure and outrunning an Alabama defense. And you package that, I think, with some really good deep balls. I think you saw some in-game learning on the same route concepts, and we've seen learning throughout his career, right? This is clearly a guy that is getting better and better and better. All you have to look at is his stats and his, PFF profile to know that there's some semblance of growth there. So there's a lot of encouraging signs there, but there was a lot of down-to-down inconsistency as well, whether it was holding onto the ball too long or not seeing it, not necessarily processing coverages and where the soft spots were, some questionable throws. I do think the accuracy is mostly a plus. We saw a couple, especially that speed out to the running back where he missed it. We'll see as I watch more film on him, really how I feel about him accuracy-wise. I think that's going to be really important in this evaluation process. But I definitely see a guy that, kind of as people have been saying, should be considered at some point in the first round, and you hope that you can continue to get him up to speed, and maybe he can be like a Lamar Jackson who went with the 32nd pick in the draft. I don't think it's a galaxy-wide pro comp. I see some similarities to a young Lamar Jackson, and that's obviously very exciting. So I'm not quite ready to say he's going to be the next Lamar, but there's a lot to work with there. So I'm definitely impressed, very excited to watch more and kind of solidify who I think he is as a quarterback as we lead up to April's draft. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Let me know in the comments who you want to see next. Is it Michael Penix, Bo Nix? Let me know. I've definitely got a few more of these before we get really into January and draft season. But please do hit that like button on the way out. Make sure you're subscribed for all of my content, and we'll see you later. Peace out.